Into the Spider-Verse came out 5 years ago. That should make you feel a little bit old. Animation had been feeling pretty stale for a year, and it revolutionized the concept of animation and what heights the medium could even soar to. The concept of dropping frames so rapidly to make action seem more explosive, using very vivid colors to make scenes pop, and by using music to complement everything visual are some of the many techniques studios are trying to add to their animations. In 2021, you could see examples of this in The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and just earlier this year we had Puss in Boots 2. My hot take would be if Spider-Man didn't precede Puss in Boots would have been overlooked. The narrative was really good, but without the animation and the subtle hints that they picked up from Spider-Man, it wouldn't have done just as well. I sat down in Across the Spider-Verse to a packed cinema. How could it not when the first one was one of the most refreshing and captivating cartoons in recent history? I was sitting there worried because how do you top something with such a massive reputation? Sequels seem to miss more often than hit, especially when companies see profits to be made. 5 minutes in, all my fears were put to rest. This is the best film in any genre or medium I've seen this year. I was worried the animation style would become lazy or overused, but they took everything they learned from Into the Spider-Verse and went beyond a scope I even thought possible. The animation is stylized in a similar way as the original, until you see the characters from the other multiverses popping out in insane varieties. Each landscape feels completely different, like it's drawn by a different artist. Every character feels vibrant and alive within their universe, and then out of it. They even featured real actors in the movie, which I can find very jarring at times, but all those instances were blended in a way that did not make them conflict with the animation styles. The creative direction the film explored could only be considered a masterpiece. You could stop frame by frame and make almost every instance a wallpaper. What stood out specifically for me was how alive the background could be at times. It made casual conversations so much more impactful. Spider-Gwen has an emotional fight with her father, and the color palette and style changes to fit the tone of the argument. The music and sound effects were good choices as well, but there wasn't anything as symbolic or catching as Sunflower. But the mix was solid. I didn't have to struggle to hear the voices over the chaos that seemed to erupt now and then. The audio mixing with the fights and action was gorgeous, and as with the first movie, it really complemented each other. So it looks good, and it sounds good, but you can have really well packaged garbage. If anything was going to make this movie succeed, it would have to be the narrative. Is there actually a story for Miles Morales, or was it exhausted in the first one? I was uncertain how this would pan out. The multiverses were locked off in the last movie. What changed, and would it be believable? There are no spoilers here, friends, but that aspect, very believable. They have successfully created a world where the multiverse is not feeling overused and obnoxious. The multiverse feels like media's version of AI at the moment. Everyone was excited at the concept, but after movie upon movie, the trope already feels like it's worn out its welcome, especially in the Spider-Man IP. It almost feels like the multiverse's only use is to shove nostalgia down your throat and get cheap jokes in. This movie treats the idea as an integral system that highlights Miles as an immensely important figure within this version of Spider-Man. Yes, you're gonna scream a bit when you get a reference, or laugh at the absurdity of Spider T-Rex. Spider-Man T-Rex? Spider-Rex. But nothing feels forced or unnatural. All the Spider-Men are funny and have amazing charms to them. I absolutely loved the punk and Indian themed Spider-Man. This is a long cartoon, the longest animated cartoon created in America, but the story never dips and never becomes lethargic. The pacing is phenomenal as we explore multiple universes and let the characters define themselves and grow. The fleshing out of the world and the progress of the characters is deserving of the time put into the movie. The movie takes its time establishing everything, and when it's done, you're gonna be pretty damn angry that there isn't more. Overall, this movie is a must-watch. If you've seen the first one, you know what to expect. Just rise your expectations higher because it will meet and probably exceed those. If you haven't even seen the first one, get onto it now. This was one of the most pleasurable movie experiences I've had in a long time, and definitely a movie highlight in the theater this year. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy that, please subscribe. Cheers.